The NFL regular season is already wrapped up and we're heading into the playoffs. Super Wildcard weekend is this weekend. We've got a lot of great teams heading into these playoffs, a lot of new teams that we haven't seen for some time, really diverse field and some really close matchups that we're going to be watching. I cannot believe the regular season is already over and we're heading into the 2023 playoffs.
You're my first interview since I got injured, so you're lucky. You're a good journalist.
You can compare your swing, the good one and the bad one, so you can see like the difference.
I'd like to notice that, man.
I love it, man. I appreciate how good, glad that makes me feel.
Can't wait, to be honest.
Super Wildcard weekend got games on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And then Saturday, Sunday, the week after that for the divisional round. And then the 29th of January for the conference championships. The Chargers and the Jaguars are in for the first time since 2018. The Giants and Dolphins for the first time since 2016. And the Vikings also for the first time since 2019. And the Seahawks are back after 1 year. But cannot wait for these games. In the first matchup on Saturday at 3:30 is going to be the San Francisco 49ers versus the number 7 seeded Seattle Seahawks, who barely sneaked into the playoffs with some help, and rookie quarterback Brock Purdy and the number 1 defense of the 49ers led by Fred Warner take on number 7 Seattle. So it's the third time they're going to be facing each other this season. Obviously, the 49ers won the NFC West again, and they're the divisional opponents, but the 49ers beat them in week 2 27-7, and then in week 15 21-13, and both games are not close, and I would not expect really anything different in this one. I expect it to be an easy win for the NFC West champions, 33-17 over the Seahawks, number 2 versus number 7 in San Francisco on Fox 3:30. Should be a fun game for the 49ers. I think Brock Purdy goes out, wins his first game, and it's first playoff game of wildcard weekend, and I don't think it's going to be very close at all. But Saturday night, 7:15 on NBC is going to be a really fun game between these two young quarterbacks. Jacksonville is at home for a playoff game for the first time since 2018, and the Chargers are also back in the playoffs for the first time since 2018, and it's Justin Herbert versus Trevor Lawrence. Cannot wait for these two young quarterbacks. They're both top 10, and both are really young teams. Justin Herbert, 4,700 yards passing, 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 68% completion percentage. Trevor Lawrence had 4,100 yards, 66% completion, and 25 touchdowns as well, going along with 8 picks. So both have been really good. Trevor Lawrence has really picked up steam as we move on, and I think the defenses are going to have to see who can make some plays late in this game, because Josh Allen, number 41 for the Jaguars, he had that game winner, that winner-take-all AFC South championship game against the Tennessee Titans, picked up a fumble and went back the other way as the Jaguars won 20-16 in that game. And on the other side, the Chargers, they're getting healthier. Khalil Mack is going to be in the attack now for this game. Chargers, they're just getting healthier, and they're a really good team on both sides. Things to be which defense can make some plays late, and in this one, I'm going with the Chargers. They are the road favorites over the Jaguars in Jacksonville. And I think the Chargers win it 24-20. Number 5 seed taking on the number 4. I expect it to be a very close game, very entertaining. I think I expect them to pull this off. And Herbert and the offense, they get it done late with a game-winning drive. And I think Trevor Lawrence should be good in his first playoff game. But I just think the Chargers are a better team. And then Sunday's slate starts off with the Bills taking on their AFC East rivals, Miami Dolphins. Number 7 Miami, they sneaked into the playoffs with some help. I expect a big performance here from Josh Allen on Sunday. And the Bills, they've been motivated by Damar Hamlin, of course. 3 has been really good. He's been out of the hospital, so he's been doing really good now. Obviously, that scary cardiac arrest incident, but Damar Hamlin's doing really good now, and I think the Bills are going to win this for him pretty easily. 35-13 is the score for the number 2 Bills in New York, 12 o'clock on CBS. The Dolphins are on their third string quarterback, Skylar Thompson, at quarterback. There's no Tua Tagovailoa. That's a huge problem. The Miami Dolphins, they started the season 8-3. They've gone 1-5 since, so barely beat the Jets 11-6, and it's the first playoff since 2016 for Miami. So I think the Bills should roll. And the next game, mid-afternoon on Sunday, got an interesting game between these two new teams in the playoffs. The Giants are back into the playoffs for the first time since 2016, and the Vikings are back since 2019. I expect a very close game. The Giants, they can definitely win this, definitely can pull off the upset in Minnesota for sure. They are just such a physical team. These two played each other 3 weeks ago, and the Vikings won 27-24 on a game-winning 61-yard field goal by Greg Joseph, and they made the comeback. They've been the most clutch team in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. Justin Jefferson's been a huge part of that. 1,800 yards receiving, 8 touchdowns, 128 catches, 14 yards per catch as well. The Vikings defense, they've been absolutely terrible. The Giants are a really strong team. With that running game, Daniel Jones has been pretty solid, only 5 interceptions. So I would say a very tight game here. I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants do end up winning, but I am going with the Vikings to pull this one out at home. 3:30 on Fox. Number 3 Vikings beating the number 6 Giants. The Vikings get it done late. This time they hold on defense. Daniel Jones, unfortunately, does not get it done on a game-winning drive, and I think both quarterbacks do play average. I expect Saquon Barkley to carry this team, and the Vikings to be balanced offensively in terms of passing and running the ball down Cook, and the Giants could definitely easily win this game, but I'm going with the Vikings by 1. And then Sunday night, 7:15 on NBC, we've got Joe Burrow. Joe Cool and his Bengals are back in the playoffs, looking great as ever, facing their AFC North rivals, the Baltimore Ravens. The Bengals and the Ravens are going to be facing each other for the second time in back-to-back weeks. They beat the Ravens last week 27-16. Last week in Cincinnati, they're going to try and do the same thing this week in Paycor Stadium in Ohio. Bengals ended the season on an 8-game win streak. Their defense is really underrated, and the Ravens won't have Lamar Jackson, maybe even won't have backup Tyler Huntley. They may have to go with third stringer Anthony Brown. So their defense, led by Roquan Smith, a new signee, $100 million contract, he's going to have to step up. But I have the Bengals winning this one easily. Number 3 seeded Bengals 30-17 over the number 6 seeded Ravens. Another easy win for the Bengals, and their offense is just too good. And Joe Burrow, that's really all you need in this one. And the most interesting game, in my opinion, is on a Monday night. Finishing off Super Bowl card weekend, the number 5 seeded Dallas Cowboys taking on the NFC South champions at 8-9, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with Tom Brady. Dak Prescott versus Tom Brady it's an absolutely monumental game for the Cowboys as they take on the GOAT and the Bucs on Monday night. It's going to be on ABC, ESPN, ESPN2. Cowboys coming with the worst loss of their season against the Commanders, 26-6. Dak threw another pick six at 38% completion in that game, and the Cowboys end the season 12-5 and many inconsistencies on both the offensive side and defensive side. The Cowboys defense, they're one of the best in the league in the first half of the season, and they've been looking below average since. The offense, they've been ranking at the top of the charts in every category, but they've just been so inconsistent. They put up 40 points versus the Eagles, but only 6 versus the Commanders. And meanwhile, Brady has started to look a lot better. That connection with Mike Evans is looking really great. Evans had 200 yards receiving with 3 touchdowns in the NFC South Championship game versus the Panthers. And Tom Brady has been looking really good, 4,700 yards at 45 years old, 67% completion, 25 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Meanwhile, Dak Prescott, 23 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. It's been an anomaly season for Dak, 2,900 yards, 66% completion, 91 rating in 12 games. Of course, he missed 6 games with that thumb. And it's really going to come down to how these two play, but I think the defense is really going to have a huge say in this game. Cowboys have been below average in defense, ranking them around 24 after the halfway point. They're still leading in takeaways and sacks thanks to Micah Parsons, but their secondary, led by Trayvon Diggs, has gotten burned over and over. And Micah Parsons was a Defensive Player of the Year candidate at the first half of the season, hasn't made too great of an impact second half. He's still the most unique player in the NFL. 13.5 sacks, 150 tackles, 3 fumble recoveries. Meanwhile, the Bucs defense, they're fast, they're strong, they're tricky. You cannot run the ball against the Buccaneers defense, so I don't know how much Zeke Elliott and Tony Pollard can do. It's going to be interesting to see how can Dak play against this defense, but I'm going with the Cowboys here to win it. I know many experts are going with the Buccaneers. The Cowboys are just not the hot team heading into this game. The Cowboys come into this game as a 3-point road favorite in Tampa Bay. You know, it just all depends on the quarterbacks and how they do it. It's going to be very close back and forth. I'm going to stick with the better team here, and that's the Cowboys to win this game. I think the Cowboys will get a 2-score lead. I think Brady's going to make it close late, but I think the defense holds on at the end. Dak plays well. Hot start for him. Brady puts in good performance in the second half, but I think the huge thing is, will Dak turn the ball over or not? I don't think he's going to turn the ball over. You know, in the playoffs, in his 4 playoff games, he's played relatively well. You know, besides that 1-3 record. I think the Cowboys defense may force a turnover. You know, the Bucs could easily win, though. You never know with the Cowboys, but they're just a very sloppy team at times. But going with the Cowboys here, we'll see what happens. And, you know, my Super Bowl pick at the end of the day, I'm going with the Chiefs versus the 49ers. And I have the Chiefs winning their 3rd Super Bowl, 27-26, their 2nd one over the 49ers, Super Bowl 57 in Arizona. We'll see if that happens. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment what your predictions is, and I'll see you in the next one.